sure to smash the like button and subscribe. And let's get right into it, Cam. We missed Monday's practice. We had a little bit of a hurricane swirl here down in Florida, but back at it yesterday and today. We'll get into the tiffle. Give us kind of a synopsis of how we're feeling, how things were looking. Day 6 for practice. I know when we were texting last night, energy felt good, but give us a full synopsis, and then we'll dive into the details.
Yeah, I mean, it's overall good. Napier talked about it today. Competition's brewing throughout the team. You kind of see that with the different position groups. The big thing to take away yesterday was a lot of the guys on the injury report. We saw multiple guys, especially in the defensive back room, 2 guys in the offensive line room, and of course Montrell Johnson. The big news is that none of those are major long-term injuries. Even Montrell's injury, of course, is week to week. Napier gave a good update today on a lot of those guys. So overall, I mean, it's second week of camp. Nothing's really set in stone with anything, but you can see the competition, you can see the intensity, and we'll talk about the little, I guess, spat and words exchange in practice the other day with some of the players that we heard. But I mean, overall, it's been smack dab in the middle of fall camp. Everything looks good so far.
Look, we talked on Monday's show. Jaden Ball came running through the screen, which you will hear in just a moment. We continue to talk about the size of these guys and just how they look physically. I even went back and did a little recon. I was watching last year's practice tapes at this time, and maybe it's just the Kool-Aid flowing through me. Maybe it's just the new fresh season of fall camp. But it truly, and I'm not just making this up, truly felt like a different vibe. Going back to watching last year, looking around the small details, it looked like it was more lackluster, didn't care. And this was a year from today, what I looked at. So kind of similarity, right? Probably right in the middle of fall practice. The energy, the effort, the organization. Again, these are 7-minute clips. So how much can I really tell? But just going back and looking at the two, there felt like there was a much dramatic difference. Am I crazy, Cam? Is it the hat that's talking? Is it the Twitter bullies this past couple hours? It's got to my head, or am I onto something here?
I think you're a little bit onto something. I mean, last year, of course, there was big questions surrounding the quarterback room. No one really knew what Florida was going to get out of Graham Mertz. The team was very young. And again, the schedule was looking pretty daunting and difficult this time last year, too. So, but again, there's a different vibe. Everyone knows what Graham Mertz can do. He proved that last year. You add in that they've got DJ Lagway, which changes the dynamic of the offense. All of those young guys that we had question marks about last year, we got to see them play, and now we know what they can bring to the table, and they're expected to make jumps. And then, of course, this transfer class this year is a heck of a lot better than it was last year. And so, there's a lot of reasons to feel confident and feel better about fall camp um, this year versus this time last year. Of course, games still have to be played. They definitely still have to actually show that improvement on the
Sure.
field. But I mean, like you said, it does feels a little different than it did last year. Last year, just a lot of question marks. This year, there are still some questions, but I mean, we know a lot about these players and whatnot. It's just got to see how they do actually in games on Saturdays.
Clint had me on the floor. He goes, "I'm late and didn't know I pulled up the Brokeback Mountain." Like, what's up, bro? I can't escape this today. I'm just, I'm getting bodied left and
Just,
right. I shouldn't have left the house today, boys. That's where. That's,
just, just go ahead and bring out the shovel. That way they can dig your grave today.
I can't.
Call it grave digger is what we call it.
I'm
But
gonna retire. I'm gonna retire. Go ahead, Dave. Pass
going
it
off
over to you.
what going off what Cam said earlier, I mean, we've heard Billy Napier in these press conferences say, that he's hearing from different employees and staff around the building that, like, hey, look, this team has a different attitude. Like, even when they're in the building, they talk to us a different way. They have like a different kind of swagger. They're really like just concentrated on the game of football. Obviously, the attitudes, and I've even gotten some text messages from like people inside of the program saying the same thing. And to me, in my head, I'm just like, oh, this is probably just preseason fodder, and people just getting really excited before the season. But no, I mean, really, you ask anybody, they're just be like, man, this team looks different. They have a different mindset, a different attitude. And as I said, like, hey, look, a lot of people transferred out, and maybe they needed to transfer out. Maybe this is what Florida needs, is a different attitude shift. And obviously, you add in the strength and conditioning, you add in all the other changes that they did nutrition
Coaches.
wise, all that
Yep.
kind of stuff, coaches, adding another offensive line coach, replacing that. So, I mean, hey, look, different team, different time of the year. Obviously, preseason, you're going to talk, this talking season. But hey, man, I'm pumped. I'm ready for it, man. Like, look, I'm ready for it. I haven't heard these things in the last 2 years. So.